All right, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach Forbes, and then we'll jump into questions for right fielder Caleb Roberts.
All right. Obviously, the last game's always tough. You feel for your seniors. You feel for those guys that, it was the last time that they're going to wear a UNC uniform. But I want to give a lot of credit to UCLA. They bounced back. Their guy that had been a Friday guy all year stepped up for them and gave them a complete game. And they played well. They jumped on us early. It's hard to climb back from that. Our guys fought. We just could not scratch anyone across or enough runs across, and you got to give their starter a lot of credit. But I'm really proud of our team. If you look back at everything that happened over the last year, it's pretty amazing that we even had a college season. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for our players and just so thankful for the opportunity I was given to lead these guys and for their attitudes. And, a lot went into it to be able to be ready to have a season and to find a way to get into the postseason when a lot of people didn't think, we were going to be able to do that. Even when we had our two pitchers, our guys kept plugging, even when we lost them. And, it's going to be a team that I never forget. And, as bad as it hurts to lose that last game, I couldn't be more proud of a group.
All right, we'll open it up for questions for Caleb, and we'll start with Patrick James.
Caleb, I guess just kind of going off that last point there, just even though the season doesn't end how y'all wanted, how much pride do y'all take in what you're able to accomplish this year, especially kind of given some of the obstacles you guys faced?
Yeah, with everything that went on, our season being cut short last year, we were just so thankful to be able to go play a full season. We weren't sure, if we were going to have games cut short, but, we took pride in playing every game, and I felt like playing all those games during the regular season prepared us to get to this point, and, I'm proud of how we fought to the end.
Go to Gregory Hall.
Caleb, looking back on the season, just what will you remember most from this year?
Just being around my teammates. We've been through a lot. We lost some guys to injury, so I'm just proud of how we fought to the very end.
Go back to Gregory Hall.
And just moving forward, just what can you use? I know the season just ended for y'all, but just what can you kind of take away from your experience here this weekend? And just also, like Coach said, just fighting back to kind of never to forget this season, what you guys went through, and to propel forward.
Yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to make the tournament, but we were just happy that we made it, and I felt like, coming here was a really good experience for us and some of the younger guys, and, I'll never forget playing here in Lubbock, and I feel like this will really help our program in the future.
We have any other questions for Caleb? All right, we'll let him go, and we'll start with questions for Coach Forbes. Thanks, Caleb. All right, we'll start with Mike Topper.
Hey, Coach. Difficult question to ask, I know, because the season just ended, but you kind of alluded to it just with everything you had to deal with as far as the COVID situation, dealing with some things in the middle of the season. Is there one or two things that you can look back on and reflect what you take away most from your first season as a head coach here at UNC?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say the biggest word is thankfulness. Just being thankful to be able to lead the University of North Carolina's baseball program, but more a group of guys that really bought in to everything that we did, to be able to make this season possible. But thankful to all the people that helped that people don't see. They see us and the players on the field, but so many people supported us, spent money on us, allowed us to be able to play this season. And, I think we're going to look back and just realize how difficult that was. And then obviously being proud of the fact that, we were one of those teams that got all of our 50 games in. We made it in the postseason. proud of a group that believed in themselves. So I would say thankfulness and proud would be the main two things. And I just took from it that, hey, no matter what, you're going to be dealt with some adversity, and you just have to keep plugging.
Go to Patrick James.
Coach, kind of going off that a little bit, I mean, how much do you feel like you maybe even learned about yourself just kind of over the course of this season?
Yeah, a lot. A lot of coaches that I talked to right when I got the job said you will look back and realize you probably learned the most your first year as a head coach. You have to constantly be learning, or you need to get out of whatever you're doing, in my opinion. You should always ask questions and never think you know it all. But, when it's your first time, it's your first time. And you have to really step back at the end of the season and say, hey, man, how much did I learn? And then how much more can I learn to help the second season? But I do believe, I learned a ton about leading a program as a head coach, but also a ton about myself.
Go to Gregory Hall.
Scott, what was the message to the team after the game to close out the season? Just what did you say to the guys following the loss today?
I haven't met with them yet. We'll meet in the conference room when we get back, just because, when you're on the road and you're in a regional, the next game's coming. So I didn't want to put that on our guys. And that's hard. I've been there as a player way back. You know when it's over, and it's hard on some guys. So I didn't want to focus on that at the moment. We'll go back and, my message to this team will be, again, one of thankfulness. It's a team that I will never forget. I'm not going to forget any teams, because you don't as a coach. I've been coaching a long time, and I know all of the teams that I've been fortunate to be a part of. But again, it'll be the first team I was ever a head coach of. So that will make it even more special, and I'll point out the good things and the positives, and just how proud I am of this group, again, because we were one of the few that really believed that we could be at this point and be in a regional. And even last night we had a chance to win that game too, and you got to give Texas Tech credit. But I just talked to them and basically tell them how proud I am of them, and how I think their effort is going to really help our program. Although we know what our goals are, we're not happy losing in a regional. We're not happy getting to a regional at the University of North Carolina. But like 2010, if you have a younger group and you can find a way to get in there and get that postseason experience, you have to hope that it'll help you the next year.
Go to Patrick James.
No, he actually just touched on what my question was right there, so I'm good.
Okay, we'll go back to Gregory Hall then to close.
I know it's hard, just because, like you said, the goal for Carolina is to get to Omaha and see what happens once you're there. But with your first year, it being your first year, going into that first weekend, if someone had told you, look, you're not going to know how you're going to get there, but hey, you're going to get this young group to a regional despite people doubting y'all, would that be something that you would want more, but something that you would have believed entering that first weekend, or just kind of reflecting on that, would it be something that you were okay with? And I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Obviously, I've been fortunate to be in the College World Series 7 times. So, I know what our goals are, and those are never going to change at UNC, and they shouldn't change. But I preach positivity. I preach belief, staying with the process, telling the guys early we will have some adversity and we have to be able to handle it. And I would have said at the beginning of the season, no, I probably wouldn't have been satisfied with just making it into a regional. But I've been coaching a while, and I know that when you lose 2 weekend starters that I thought, would throw significant innings for us, there was a point there I was like, okay, we just got to find a way to get through this, bounce back, and get into the postseason, because then it's a new season and anything can happen. But to answer that question, I think to be able to get through that and to get in, I think it'll definitely help us moving forward.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thank you all for joining us all weekend.